I was pregnant, a congressional candidate with a toddler, and my own political party threatened to put me in jail. Not the other party, mine. Why would my own party threaten a pregnant mother with jail? Because I did the one thing an entrenched incumbent can't survive. I beat him, fair and square, for the people who knew us best, and the machine around him could not allow that to stand. Let me tell you exactly what happened, with the receipts. But first, understand the water we're swimming in. Call me crazy, but I believe the support of the people should be the only test of who gets to lead. Not the approval of insiders, the consultants, the donors. The people. That's the whole idea. Government of, by, and for the people. If it's good enough for Lincoln, it's good enough for the Democratic Party. But here's the uncomfortable truth. In America, our two political parties aren't public democratic institutions. Legally, they're closer to private clubs, and they will tell you so in open court when it suits them. In 2016, when a wave of folks backed Bernie Sanders, leaked emails showed Democratic Party officials, supposedly neutral referees, quietly working the scale for the other side. Voters sued. They had been promised fairness, that's what they wanted. And the party's highly paid lawyers stood up in federal court and argued that their own promise of fairness was, quote, political rhetoric, not a real obligation. Nothing a court could enforce. The party that sells itself as the guardian of democracy argued in open court that it was under no obligation to actually be democratic. Y'all, it hurts. And if you think that's ancient history, don't take my word for it. Take my opponent's. Congressman Adam Smith, the 30-year incumbent I'm running to unseat, went on national television in 2024 and said the quiet part out loud. Quote, Joe Biden was not picked in 2020 because he was the only person that could beat Donald Trump. He was picked because he was the only person that could beat Bernie Sanders. A sitting congressman described his own party picking its nominees not by asking who could best serve the country, not by listening to the people, not by an open and fair primary election, but by asking who could best stop the people's first choice. That wasn't a leak. It wasn't a hack. It wasn't me. That was the man who's held this seat for 30 years, explaining on camera how the machine works and treating it like the most normal thing in the world. He wasn't confessing in his mind. He was describing the water he swims in. So here's what the machine did to me. And I'll be careful with this because there's brave and there's reckless, and I don't deal in accusations I can't prove. I deal in documents. Everything I show you here is linked on my Substack, link in the description. You can read it yourself. In 2024, I ran as a first-time grassroots candidate for the congressional seat, answerable to nobody but the people. And I earned the endorsement of the Veterans and Military Families Caucus of the Washington State Democrats. That mattered because Adam Smith is the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, the party's veterans and military champion, and he's never served. No one in his family has either. I'm a Navy commander's daughter. I'm the wife of a 100% disabled Army veteran. The caucus went with authentic. It went with the people. And that made me a threat. So, a little while later, a letter arrived from the state party's most expensive law firm. It claimed that caucus meeting had never happened, that I was falsely claiming the endorsement, and it threatened me with a lawsuit and jail time unless I destroyed most of what my campaign owned within 24 hours. I had done nothing wrong, and I can prove that they knew it. They told me the meeting never happened. The man who chaired that meeting was elected Attorney General of Washington State that same November. The minutes of that meeting, which clearly show my endorsement, were emailed to the State Dem's own senior advisor, as well as the party affairs director, on June 23rd, the day after the meeting happened. 2 weeks later, that same advisor told me in that email the caucus has not met this cycle and my endorsement was not possible. He knew they had met. The minutes had been sent to him 2 weeks ago. So don't tell me it never happened. Tell me why the machine needed to lie. Guess what that former senior advisor to the state Dems does now? He's a political consultant. You can imagine what kind of unethical tactics he advises his clients and the price tags he charges. But behind all of this smoke machine and manipulation is a serious motive. By doing this, who is the party tipping the scales in favor of? How do we solve murders, anyway? by asking who benefits. The consultants, lawyers, operatives, and senior advisors doing this at the time were clearly tipping the scales to protect the incumbent, even though that meant threatening an innocent, patriotic American with the claim they knew very well from multiple sources was false. Now, at the very last moment, someone leaked our evidence to them, and they backed down and never got to face them in court. But let me ask you something. Wouldn't you feel betrayed? I'm not telling you this because it happened to me. I'm telling you because if you are decent and dedicated, and you put forward your best efforts to win the power that it takes to actually see justice done, the machine will do it to you too. If a political party can do this to me today, it can do it to you tomorrow. That's how Epstein operated with impunity for as long as he did. The bureaucracy was cowed, complicit, and bought. If we don't deal with this, we're in for more of the same. And this isn't just legal threats to jail a pregnant mother of a little toddler in the critical moment of my campaign. It's a system designed to prevent anyone serious from even getting enough of a toehold to try. In more and more local party organizations, the chair personally appoints half the board. Win the chair and you hand yourself a majority. No vote of the members required. Same trick with endorsements. A committee that leadership picks decides who's recommended. And if they leave you out, you need a supermajority of the whole room just to overrule them. Let me tell you how hard that is as a newcomer who won't play their games. I did it anyway. The 33rd District here in Washington State, Adam Smith's own home district where he grew up, disavowed him and endorsed me. They were the first. The 31st District rescinded, pulled back their endorsement of him and backed me. The 43rd, downtown Seattle, the most powerful district in the state, formally censured Adam Smith and endorsed me. The 48th overturned their own committee to endorse me 2-1. That was last time. This year, they raised the bar. Several districts now require 60% to endorse minimum, not a simple majority. In one, I won 59.57% of the vote. A clear majority of Democrats in that district chose me, and I still walked away with nothing. That's not handling disagreement. That's power consolidation in service to entrenched interests. And then there's the money. The voter file costs tens of thousands of dollars. If you have your party's approval, you get it for free. A compliance treasurer is expensive. Consultants are tens of thousands each. Those are gatekeepers who stand between you and every donor and endorser and media outlet worth having. A serious congressional race becomes a seven-figure machine real fast. At least, run the normal way. Here in Washington, I was told that the party's detailed voter file and the software to run the campaign, which they would have given me for free if I would play their game, it was locked behind winning a majority of my 11 districts in my congressional district. I needed 6. I won 4. Coming out of nowhere against every impediment they put in my way, I won 4. But they locked me out anyway of the software, the data, and the volunteers. But I still ran. Flyers, yard signs, doors, banners, real, physical, human contact they couldn't shadow ban or throttle. And I won my primary. I fought against Adam Smith in the general election, and I earned over 90,000 votes. And here's what I learned. Politics in America is an industry, an economic flywheel of polling and printing and advertising and manipulation running on your hope and pain and fear. And it is very good at taking brave people and teaching them that survival means becoming the machine they came to fix. Take the approved money, hire the approved people, say the approved words. Don't challenge the entrenched incumbents. Don't ask where the money comes from. I'm what that machine chokes on. And the result of this machine? Our government is old, damn near senile. The average House member is pushing 60. The average senator is in their mid-60s. Average. That's retirement age for everybody else. 24 members of Congress are over 80. One sitting senator is in his 90s. Another has been missing for weeks after, shall we say, age-related malfunctions, and his own state's governor has had to demand to know whether that state is even still being represented. Now, there's nothing wrong with elderhood. Age brings wisdom, and I want that in our government. But the problem is a system with so little turnover that people are pressured to stay because there's no dignified way out, and no one was ever allowed to take the baton. The Democratic Party eats its own young, and I'm living proof. Since 2016, 21 members of Congress have died in office, 2/3 of them Democrats. When a party can't raise up new leaders with integrity, this is how the seat finally opens, a funeral. That's not a democracy passing the torch. That's a democracy refusing to. A seat in Congress is not a possession to be clutched until your last breath. It's a public trust, lent by the people, meant to be handed on. So here's what we do. Term limits, a hard cap. 12 years in the House, 18 in the Senate. Long enough to build a real record, not long enough to turn a public office into private property. Independent redistricting, so voters pick their representatives instead of representatives picking their voters. Ranked choice voting, so we don't have all of this spoiler concern. Public campaign financing, breaking the donor lock on our elections. Equal, affordable access to the voter data, so a good candidate with no rich friends can still reach you. And inside the parties, real accountability, boards elected fully by the members, open records, protection for the dissenters and the caucuses, and promises to serve the people that can be enforced in court. I don't want to burn the parties down. At their best, they're how people gather, organize, educate, and build power together. I want every party to go back to the people, which they are supposed to be serving. I still believe in democracy. Not the branding, not the ceremonies, not the managed performance of participation. The real thing. People thinking together, disagreeing honestly, coming to agreement when they can, and having a fair competition in public when they can't. Choosing who represents them and removing them when they stop serving. Government of the people, by the people, and for the people shouldn't be a radical demand inside the Democratic Party. It should be the minimum requirement for using the main. The entrenched machine already decided I was a threat to their business as usual. They locked the doors, they sent the lawyers, they raised the bar. 90,000 of you voted for me anyway. So I'm not asking the machine for permission. I'm asking you. My name is Melissa Chowdhury, and I'm running for Congress because the people deserve a real representative. The machine can't buy, can't threaten, and can't control. Care, courage, the Constitution. Vote Melissa for Congress.